My name is Jim Kirby, and I'm a former retired former planner with Ontario Power Generation in the Investment Planning Division. I have a scientific background as well with a master's degree from the University of Toronto Institute for Aerospace Studies. What I want to talk to you today about is opportunities. I don't want to talk about problems. I want to talk to you about opportunities connected with getting off of fossil fuels. Okay, there's a lot of negative thinking going on, but actually, if you look at it, we're we have an unprecedented opportunity to improve our quality of life. Let's start with the air quality. If we go to battery powered vehicles, for example, we're going to find ourselves with the pollution levels plummeting. Your local pollution isn't going to be an issue anymore. And I want to talk to you today about how you can save money as well and improve your mobility and improve your mobility. I'm not kidding you. I mean it. Okay, let's talk. The thing I want to talk about is transportation as a service. Transportation as a service is a basically a taxi cab that you reserve or hail, whichever, and you can reserve it. It'll show up at your door. It'll pick you up. It'll take you right to the door of where you're going, and there's no parking hassles. There's no worries about driving. You can read a magazine if you want because it drives itself. It's introduced already in about three or four American cities, and it has an accident record which is it beats human beings by a large amount. It's very simple. It is a possibility that we can. Now let's talk about our urban environment. Let's talk about shopping malls everywhere in in the suburbs at least. Huge parking lots, bigger than the mall itself, covered with asphalt. It's actually quite ugly if you look at it and think about it. Compared to what it could be, it's ugly. Okay, now let's look at what can be, because if we don't do that, we are replacing all of the fossil infrastructure. We have an unprecedented opportunity to change things in a way that favors the quality of life. And what I wanted to talk to you about, as I said, was transportation as a service. It's offered in several cities, so let's expand it. But let's think about it a bit more deeply. Let's expand it a lot. Let's think about not just taxi cabs. Let's think about if you don't own a car. Yeah, there's no you've saved yourself 20, 30, $40,000 to start. You get you before you take the car out of the garage, you save the insurance, you save the maintenance, you save the wear and tear on yourself, and it will be affordable. And I'll tell you why. Because it's going to be driven by zero fuel cost energy. And the companies that run that will be able to swing a deal for with the power companies getting power and maybe a discounted price. Who knows? It it makes total sense. You don't own a car, you save all that money. Okay, that's not all. when the cars will be intelligent, they'll talk to each other. They'll know where the traffic is in every particular location. They can choose a route that's based upon the traffic conditions and minimizing the time that you take to get to work. And that's going to save you time. Not only that, it's going to drop you at the door of your place you're going, and it's going to park it. It's going to go off and pick up another fare, or it'll find it. And we don't have to, from the point of view of paying for things, we don't have to put charging stations everywhere. We can have one central station after it's dropped you off and it's running out of charge. It can go to that central station and charge. You don't have to go, but you can't do that when you're going to work because you don't want to walk for 20 miles. But that's nothing to a car. And the car can do that because it's self driving. There's so many advantages. And one of the advantages is the shopping malls. Miles and miles of shopping malls, concrete jungles. They have a parking lot, usually, that's bigger. A significant mall will have a parking lot that is bigger than the mall itself. Downtown, they put them underground, but because of the value of the land. But in the suburbs, they don't do that. It is a blight on the environment. So let's think about that as a benefit. And so smoother flow of traffic, and we can use that land for something. That land has a value. It could be for the housing. That is one possibility, and there's lots of possibilities for that. It could have parks. Let's think about that. I put a video there of High Park because I like trees, and I think that you could turn a lot of those small parking lots into decent urban parks. You know, they're not going to be like that High Park in Toronto, which is that video. It could be something else, but it will be a lot better. Planting trees in an urban environment, particularly when you're facing global warming, there's an urban heat island anyway. So you're already getting hit by high temperatures. Planting trees and creating an urban forest not only probably will um, reduce greenhouse gases in the atmosphere because the forest, when it's growing, absorbs carbon, but it also will improve our quality of life a lot. So we're going to bring down the electric vehicles are going to bring down the pollution levels to nothing practically. We may be able to do something about the sound levels, and we have we'll save money, and I'll explain why. We don't have to buy; we can rent. We just pay for the vehicle as we use it. You pay $30,000 or $40,000, maybe $50,000 or $20,000. I don't care. It's a lot of money, and it for a vehicle that sits in your car in your garage or in a parking lot, doesn't matter, and rusts. It does. It rusts. At least in Toronto, it does. It may not rust as much in some southern cities, but it still rusts, and it depreciates. And you've got to pay for that depreciation. You have to pay for the insurance. You have to pay for the maintenance. It's going to be. It will save you a lot of money to only pay for the ride, because that same vehicle could go along and pick up another passenger. Maybe it can pick up three or four, depends on the time of day. Maybe it'll only pick up one, but That will be a rare thing. Most of the fleet will be active for a large fraction of the time. So you've lowered the cost. You don't have to build as many cars. You save on that. You save on the cost of ownership. But the real benefit to me is that you can turn those shopping malls into parks, and or anything else that is appropriate. That is uh, the reason for doing this. We're going to end up better off with lower costs as a result of the transition instead of higher costs. I'm convinced of that, and I